Media.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chabergi, and joining me from Phoenix down there is Derek. How's it going down there, Derek?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Sweating a little bit.
Oh, I hear you. It's terrible. I'm so over the heat. I'm ready for snow.
Says feels like 112 today in Phoenix, and I walk around for a living outside. So,
that's gotta. I couldn't do it.
It's not. Honestly, though, man, once you get a good sweat going, as long as there's a breeze, it's tolerable. I mean, you're soaking wet from the sweat, and the breeze hits you. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit of a break. I mean, it's not fun, but I would hate to. I'll take this any day. I will not be visiting Brandon out in Raleigh anytime during the summer months.
Oh wow.
He is my winter refuge. I'll go there in the winter. Hey, Donda Cole's here over on YouTube. How you doing, Donda?
Yeah, Trish is on YouTube too. So got our
Andrea
YouTube
Lynn. Andrea Lynn. I follow her on Facebook. She's been kicking booty when it comes to taking classes and getting some schoolwork done.
Yep.
Kaylee is here. How you doing, Kaylee? Roxanne Ann Fisher, Walt Sanders, Salina. Nice.
Cool. Hey, Walt.
You know that guy?
No, I don't.
Oh, it just said Salina as a chance. I thought maybe you knew him. We got Rodney from Ottawa.
Fellow Salinan.
Julie over in Wichita, Trisha Arnold over in YouTube. How you doing?
Ellen Dotson. We're sharing the heck out of the show everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, wherever it's popping up, share it. Please.
Tatum is here. Tatum's a huge help for the team. She does a lot of work for Kansas Missing Unsolved.
She keeping me busy. If I wasn't busy enough, she'd make sure I'm busy.
We got Esther in the house. Kaylee is upset. Well, I'm sorry about that, Kaylee. Let us know what's going on. Maybe we can get a bunch of people sending some positive thoughts your way.
Yeah. Been an interesting week, though. This past Sunday, myself, my brother, and my daughter, we were all involved in getting together with a group that got together to search for Nathan Thompson that's missing from here in town. And we were asked to go check out a location out in rural, just outside of town to the west a little ways, and we went out there and looked around, and we did find some stuff that we thought was kind of concerning. So we did get a hold of the search coordinator, and they had the deputies come out, and they had detective come out, and they of course took our information, but they also took photos of what we found, and they collected samples of what we found and stuff like that. And don't know if it's going to lead to anything or not, but it's the first time I've been involved in a hands-on search, so that was interesting. And they're talking about maybe, if he hasn't been found here pretty soon, doing another one. So let me know, and I'll try to get back out there and help again. So
what's the main selling point on that case? It was something about his house burned down, right?
Yeah, his trailer house burned down. It was rolled in arson, and I guess police are in possession of video showing that he was forcibly removed from his house before it was burned. So they're thinking foul play may be involved.
So it's like a kidnapping, except it's like a grown man napping.
Yeah, sounds that way.
Wow.
And I know they have a van in police custody that believe that the van was used to transport him. I don't know what led them to believe it or anything, but they do have it in custody. So I don't know if they've learned anything from it, got anything from it. They haven't said anything. So,
well, I don't know anything, but to me, it sounds like abduction of an adult male, arson, sloppy work where you're caught on video. To me, it just seems like this wasn't a very well planned out attack. To me, it sounds like whoever did this is pretty sloppy, and hopefully that'll give us answers quickly, because it doesn't sound like they did a whole lot to help, keep themselves anonymous.
Right. And I was told the other teams went out and searched in other areas. I guess one went up north. I'm not sure where the others went, but I guess my understanding is they all the other team did find something else too. I don't know what, but they did find something else as well. So hopefully, see what happens out of it. Hopefully, it leads to something though.
We got Deborah out in Larnard. How you doing, Deborah? Christopher Unruh here from Greensburg, the world's biggest well.
Yep.
Kaylee's having some issues with her grandma and her dog. Well, Kaylee, we hope you get that situated. That's never fun to be at odds with your loved ones.
Definitely.
Especially if you live together. I have me, my wife, my 2 kids, my brother, his wife, and his 2 kids. And then they have a 3rd kid that comes over here all the time. So I know what it's like to have tense situations when you're just trying to watch TV. You know what I mean? Well, let's go ahead and get to some cases. I'm going to take a quick break. You're watching the Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. We'll be right back after this. Please stay tuned.
If you or someone you know is thinking of running from home, has run away, or if you are a runaway ready to go back home, call 1-800-RUNAWAY. That's 1-800-786-2929.
All right. And I did notice too, we have a minute here. Deborah Click from Larned is here, and both Christopher Unruh and Esther Unruh, they are siblings. They're here from Greensburg.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. And this one here, we're going to start with Abby Rain Schaefer. As soon as I locate her in my long list here. We're covering her again. I know we covered her, I think it was last week or something like that, maybe the week before. But we're covering her again because my understanding is they're still trying to get information that leads on her case, and they still haven't gotten anything. So we're going to cover her again to see if we can't get some things generated here. We got Abby Rain Schaefer's missing from Kansas City, Missouri since May 23rd of this year. She's 22. She's 5'2", weighs 120 pounds, has brown hair and brown eyes. She was last seen to get into a dark gray 4-door car with an unknown adult male. She was last known to be wearing a tan-colored long-sleeve crop top, black leggings, and gray Nike sandals. And there's a couple photos of her in that outfit right there. Let's see. And those were taken from the doorbell footage on the camera before she did go missing. So if anybody does have any information regarding Abby's disappearance, you know of her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department Sex Crimes Missing Persons Unit at 816-234-5220 and see if we can't help get Abby located and back home to where she needs to be. It's getting very concerning.
And we haven't really heard anything as far as updates on Abby, right?
Yeah, haven't heard. There hasn't been anything to update. That's, main reason we're recovering her case is because just nothing's coming up.
That's just first of all, that's coming up on 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then one thing that to me that I was just really puzzled about the car that was, and if it was just the doorbell picked up a car pulling up, her walking outside and talking to him, that wouldn't be news to me. That's not a big deal. But the whole thing where they said the car sat out there for 6 hours, that just is so weird to me.
And Tatum saying there are no updates and no updates from Ellie and no movement on the case.
Wow. Well, if anybody out there,
say hello to Amanda Cunningham from Amarillo. Hope everyone's staying cool. They hit 109 today. Woo.
Wow. It is just
hot all over, I guess.
There. Yeah. You're not kidding, man. Well, let's go ahead and talk about Alexander Perez.
Okay.
Here in a few months, about 4 or 5 months, it'll be year 2 for this case.
And pulled this flyer. Oh, there it is, way up there. Okay, sorry about that. Alexander Perez is missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st of 2020. He was 35 when he went missing. He's now 36. He is 5'11" tall, weighs 235 pounds, and he has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. He had called a family member via telephone on December 1st and advised he'd be coming to their home to do laundry. He never arrived at the family member's home in Ulysses. He has not been heard from or seen by family since that time, and he had been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. It is believed that Alexander may be in the local Ulysses area, or he may be in Garden City, Kansas, or surrounding areas. At least that was the original information came out. We've all heard the rumors and stuff like that. We don't know how true they are, so we don't really try to pay attention to him and hope he's still out there, safe and okay. But just don't know at this point. At the time of his disappearance, again, he was 35. He's now 36. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald, and brown eyes. He has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. He has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. He has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't help get Alex located and back home to his family, because I know they are searching high and low and they are not giving up until they find him.
And then this is the voicemail that was sent to Alexander Perez's family member, who's a source of ours, and this was on December 6th, 2020.
I don't know, man. I'm supposed to be going back early morning to go get some shit and then go get some other stuff down there and bring it back down here, but I don't even know, man. It's been wild down there. It's been crazy. Fucking been held at gunpoint and robbed and tried to beat me up. It's a bunch of crazy shit going on in GC, man.
Wow, that's just, every time I listen to that, it just blows my mind.
Yeah. That was his last communication with civilization. If he's still around, he has not reached out to anybody that we've talked to.
Right.
That's just sad, and just especially for our source.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Especially for our source who Alexander sent that voice message to. Like, how bad did they have to feel that, it's just like they so far in almost 2 years they haven't heard his voice again. They just have this one very vague message where he mentions people attacking him and trying to hurt him, and then he hasn't heard from him since. That's just crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Jennifer Sandoval, new here from Wichita. Welcome, new viewer Jennifer Sandoval.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, Trisha's saying so sad. Yeah, it is. Definitely is, Trisha. That's why we keep covering him. We want to get him brought home.
Let's talk about Alonzo Brooks.
Okay. This is actually an unsolved homicide. It was April 2004 in Lacine. I hope I said that right, Kansas. He was last seen alive in April 2004 during a party at a farmhouse on the outskirts of Lacine. He was one of only 3 African American men at the party, which 100 or more people attended. He rode to the party with friends, but they left before he did, leaving him without a ride home. When Alonzo failed to come home the next day, his family and friends contacted Atlanta County, Kansas Sheriff's Department. Sheriff's Department and other law enforcement agencies searched areas around the farmhouse where the party was, including parts of nearby Middle Creek, and did not find Alonzo. After Alonzo had been missing for almost a month, a group of his family and friends organized a search. They began on the road near the farmhouse and walked the 2 branches of Middle Creek. In just under an hour, they found Alonzo's body partially on top of a pile of brush and branches in the creek. In the initial investigation, a coroner in Lynn County said he was unable to determine the cause of death, and witnesses' interviews failed to produce any arrests. Alonzo's body was exhumed in July 2020 and taken to Dover Air Force Base for examination. The examiner's report concludes that his death was a homicide. The examiner focused on injuries on Alonzo's body that were not consistent with normal patterns in decomposition. In 2019, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Kansas and the FBI reopened the investigation of Brooks's death, which has been dormant for years. As part of the new investigation, the FBI also announced a $100,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of anyone responsible for Alonzo's death. So if you have any information regarding Alonzo's death, please call the FBI at 816-512-8200 or 816-474-8477, or you can submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. and see if we can't help get some justice for Alonzo and his family. I know they've been his case has been featured in numerous YouTube channels, and I believe Dateline NBC or no Netflix Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix did a segment on him. So they're really trying to get some information to lead them in the right direction to who did that to him.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, they got FBI's phone number on there. I mean, that's pretty high profile. We cover a lot of cases. Most of them just say like either like the local branch of Bureau of Investigation. It says FBI, you know.
Yep.
Wow. Well, hopefully there's some resolution on that. How get some answers, get some information from somewhere.
Yeah.
Just tough, and you hate to see it. Let's talk about Andreas.
All right.
If I'm saying that correctly.
He is missing. I think so. It's Andreas. I'm not sure. Missing from Leavenworth, Kansas on July 16th of 2010. He was 25 when he went missing. He'd now be 37. 6'2", 169 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. Andreas was very agitated and delusional and told his loved ones he was going to cleanse himself in the river for God. His car, shoes, and wallet were later found near the boat ramp at Riverfront Park in Leavenworth. He's never been heard from again. At the time of his disappearance, the Missouri River, which runs through the city, was higher than it had been in decades. The flooding ultimately killed dozens of people because of the circumstances of his case. Authorities believe Martz is deceased. Andreas suffers from schizophrenia and had been released from the hospital shortly before his disappearance. Andreas also has Paré-Romberg syndrome, a rare disease that causes progressive shrinking and degeneration of the tissues beneath the skin on one side of the face. He's undergone multiple reconstructive surgeries as a result of the condition. He may have surgical scars and surgical screws and hardware, wires and bone fasteners on his upper and lower jaws, as well as dental anomalies, and his face may appear deformed. If you have any information regarding Andreas's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Leavenworth, Kansas Police Department at 913-651-2260 or the anonymous tip line 913-682-2583 or KBI 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get him located and back home to where he needs to be.
Yeah, schizophrenia,
almost
man.
Kind of sounds like, yeah. Almost kind of sounds like, since he made a statement about cleansing himself in the river of God, it almost sounds like maybe went to the river, underestimated the current, and maybe carried him away, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, everything really just points towards the water. I mean, he says he wants to go cleanse himself. They find his car, his keys, his clothes next to the river. And which you said it was Missouri River?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not familiar with the Missouri River, but the one that goes north of Elkhart, the Arkansas River, it is, maybe it's the Arkansas, I don't know. But over here, I think it is Arkansas. The river that goes north of Elkhart, like it doesn't run. Like there's no water. But when it does run, like every 10 years, they'll like release some water from Colorado or something and it flows. And it's not a very big river at all, but it's enough that if somebody just walked out in it, they'd get sucked down, like it would take you down the path, and there's trees in the riverbed. So any amount of water that's moving like a river, that's really dangerous to be in, especially if you're not, if you don't have your wits about you and you might be needing some medical attention as far as where you're at mentally,
Right.
That's just real sad. You hate to hear people struggle mentally like that and bad things happen, and it's just sad.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Bernard.
It's Mullinex, I believe.
Mullinex, yeah. A little bit of an older case. Looks like
missing from Manhattan, Kansas. Yeah, he is an older case, missing since December 20th of 2009. So about not quite 13 years. He was 43 when he went missing. He'd now be 56. He's 6'2" to 6'4", weighs 230 pounds, has brown graying hair and brown eyes. He was last seen at his residence in the vicinity of the 800 block of Fremont. Allegedly, Bernard got into a dispute with his roommates and left the home. His roommate said he may be traveling to Topeka or an Indian reservation in South Dakota. Relatives and friends haven't seen him since. He also failed to make a medical appointment. All of his personal belongings were left at the residence, including his wallet, identification, and medications. And at the time of his disappearance, he was 43. He is now 56. He is 6'2" to 6'4" tall and weighs 230 pounds. Has brown graying hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Bernard's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Riley County, Kansas Police Department at 785-537-2112 or Riley County Crime Stoppers at 785-539-7777 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't help get Bernard located and back home to his family where he needs to be.
Yeah. I don't know. He gets in a fight with some people and he's never seen again. You're like, ask those people what happened. Oh, he said he was leaving. Maybe just some random. I don't know. It's like, who knows, man?
Yeah.
But this is 2009. This was a long time ago. I mean, if he left on his own volition, surely he would have popped back into town by now. You know, I mean, 2009.
Yeah. Yeah.
And surely somebody would have seen him by now. If he went to either of those places that they said he might have gone, like surely, you know, somebody. It's just, I don't know. Anytime you see somebody missing this long, it's just makes me worried that something bad happened. You know?
Yeah.
Hate to see it. Let me see.
Yeah.
Manhattan, Kansas. Okay. All right. Well, if anybody has any information, that's a pretty big high up there on the agenda is what needs to be solved. This is a long time ago. We need to get some answers on this.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, definitely.
All right. Let's go ahead and talk about Billy and Mary Black.
Okay. They are missing from Atchison, Kansas on September 11th of 2009, another 2009 case. Billy, when he went missing, was 74. He'd now be 87. 6 foot tall, 190 pounds, gray hair, brown eyes. Mary Lou also went missing September 11th, 2009. She was 72 when she went missing. She would now be 85. 5'1", 115 pounds, gray hair, brown eyes. Billy and his wife Mary disappeared from Atchison at 8:15 a.m. on September 11, 2009. They left their home in the 2400 block of Pacific Street in their light blue four-door 1990 Honda Civic with Kansas license plate AWX 605 and never returned. The vehicle has never been located. It has paint missing from the hood, and its exhaust system is loud and dangles from the undercarriage. After their disappearances, the lights were found turned on in the Black's home. Billy and Mary's driver's licenses were there, as well as a checkbook and some cash, and Billy's insulin was in the refrigerator. They had one son together, and by the time of their disappearances, both Billy and Mary had severe health problems. Billy was stressed from having to care for Mary and told their son it'd be better for him if his parents weren't around. Authorities and members of Black's families believe that they're no longer alive. One theory is that they drove accidentally or intentionally into the Missouri River. Little evidence is available in their cases, however, and their disappearances remain unsolved. If you have any information regarding Billy and Mary's disappearance or you know of their whereabouts, please call the Atchison County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 913-367-4323 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get them located and get them back home.
That's very dark.
Yeah.
Who was it that said that would be so? Their kid said his life would be easier if they weren't in it.
No, Billy, the husband, did.
Oh, he said that. That's sad, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you gotta wonder too, like that's a whole like people, the elderly. You gotta wonder if like if they were taken care of, you know, like because a lot of people don't realize that, but like when you get older and you can't work anymore, it's not like they just give you money. Like, you know, you still have to figure out ways to. So you wonder if they were like healthy, or if you just wonder what, like, I don't know. It's just really dark to hear that two people might have drove into the water on purpose. But then you got to think about how tough life is for some people,
Yeah. And Tatum brought up, she says there are articles in the comments under their flyer on Kansas Missing and Unsolved as well. And she's been doing that a lot with a lot of the flyers. She's researching and finding media coverage and things like that, and she's linking it under the flyers. And Trisha's saying Adventures with Purpose searched for them at one point. Yeah, I know they did, and I know Dennis with Muddy Water Search and Recovery, he's planning on doing a search for them as well.
Haven't seen Dennis in a little while. He's a good one.
Yeah,
I like his YouTube.
Yeah, I spout off in the comments every once in a while on his live feeds.
Right. Well, hopefully there's some information found on that. That's just really sad.
Yeah, it is.
Let's talk about Charles Everett Mchenry.
Okay. He is missing from Great Bend, Kansas since May 6th of 2016. He was 27 when he went missing. He is now 33. He is 6'2", 180 pounds, black hair and black eyes. Charles was last known to be driving an unknown make two-door black car from a house in the 500 block of Northwest 20 Avenue between Hoisington and Great Bend. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 27. He's now 29, 6'2", 180 pounds, black hair and black eyes. He was last known to be wearing a black T-shirt and denim shorts. He has tattoos on his left arm. One is of the cross and says Tyler on his upper arm, and an eagle with the flag on the lower arm. His eyebrow and left ears are pierced. Has a large scar near his left knee, a large scar on his right arm from the elbow to the wrist, a scar on his right knee, a scar on his forehead, scars on both sides of his ribs, a scar on the bottom of the left foot, a dimple dip on the left bicep, has a plate in his right arm from elbow to wrist, and 2 screws in his left knee. If you have any information regarding Charles' disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Great Bend, Kansas Police Department at 620-793-4120 or at KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get Charles located and back home where he needs to be.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the flyer. I have a set to where it'll show the top part of the flyer and then the bottom. We obviously always like to show the very bottom of the flyers that Ricky makes because that's where the numbers are where you can contact. But again, this is 2016, a long time ago. These are things that if you're watching and you know something, like, we're waiting for you. We need action. We need somebody to say something. If you've seen anything, you heard anything on any of these cases, now's the time to talk. So if anybody has any information on Charles, where he might be, contact the numbers on the screen.
Yep, but no matter how small or insignificant you think that information might be, it might be a big piece they need. So please do call it in.
Yeah, could blow the whole thing wide open, just one piece of information you have. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. You're watching the Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. We'll be right back after this.
If you or someone you know is experiencing a suicidal crisis or emotional distress, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.
Okay. And this Dana Jane Bruce, missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. She was 23 when she went missing. She's now 37. She just had a birthday a few days ago, so changed that today to 37. She's 5'2", weighs 98 pounds, brown hair and greener hazel eyes. She was last seen at children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She had left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the remainder of the night. Dana was seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with the man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man that Dana was with on that night. He traveled to Atlanta after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Bruce after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She does not have any credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 23. She would now be 37. She's 5'2" and weighs 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. Dana was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. Dana has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced one time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or their toll-free number is 866-362-6422. And see if we can't generate some information on where Dana's whereabouts are so she can be brought home to her family.
Another
and Ellen, you are very welcome, and we will continue to keep covering her.
And I accidentally put up the old fly. I have the age 37, age now 37 one on the screen now. I clicked the wrong one.
Oops.
Yeah, I forgot to delete the old one. So, but yeah. We will keep sharing this flyer until we get some information. I mean, it's been a long time on that one. Let's talk about Faith.
Yep. And Amanda saying it said that the kids were being babysat and never saw their mama again. Yep, it's very sad. Let's see here. Faith Arona Park. I hope I said that right. Arona. Missing from Wichita, Kansas since May 31st of 2022. She's 17. She's 5'4" tall, weighs 180 pounds. She has black hair and brown eyes. She has a tattoo of a black heart on the right side of her neck and a tattoo of the number 18 on her left hand. If you have any information regarding Faith's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9452. or 316-268-4111, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can't get her located and back to where she needs to be. And I see Connie Judd is asking about Kenny. We're going to cover him after bit. Unfortunately, nothing new on him, but we will be covering him again to see if we can't get some stuff generated, hopefully.
Yeah, that's let me try something real quick. My computer's running a bit slow. Yeah, I do. I made a flyer for Kenny today too. So let me see who's next real quick. We got Gabrielle Blair next.
Okay. Alrighty.
Or
This
Gabrielle.
one's out of Stater, I do believe, up in Colorado. Yeah. As soon as I locate her flyer on my list.
And I think it's Gabrielle instead of Gabriel.
There she is, way up there at the very top. Missing from Denver, Colorado since April 30th of 2022. She's 26. She's 5'2", weighs 112 pounds. She has blonde hair, but it could be dyed. And she has blue eyes. She does go by the names Bree, Ellie, Gabby, or Gabby. Two different spellings there, either the Gabby or the Gabbie. Gabrielle is homeless and is known to be in the north part of Denver in District 1, 2, or 6. She's also known to couch surf, be at tent camps or on the streets. She does have a location to pick up her mail, but has not been there to pick it up in over 2 months. Gabrielle's father recently passed away, and her family needs to notify her of his passing. And basically, the only number I assume that she knows is her father's number, and she calls it from time to time. And despite the fact that he has passed away, the phone remains on for her to be able to contact family. She does have prescribed medication, but is not currently taking them. So if you have any information regarding Gabrielle's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Denver, Colorado Police Department at 720-913-6653 And let's see if we can't help get Gabrielle located and back home to her family. I think Derek's dog's barking.
Yeah, I got dog problems, man.
Or maybe he's barking at my voice.
I don't know what it is, man. Like, I went to Kansas and spent some time with my buddy, and he has 3 dogs, and they don't bark when people come over. They just get excited and like, "Hey, how you doing? What's your name?" Every dog I've ever owned loses their mind when somebody comes to my house or just looks at my house.
My 2 do too.
I hate it. I just like, just be cool. I'll let you know if you need to bark. But yeah, my dogs, if I think so, what happened is somebody probably walked by my house and my dogs just weren't having that. But tell us about Gage.
Yep, Gage Harry Pope. He's missing from Blue Springs, Missouri since July 4th of this year. He's 31. He's 5'11", weighs between 185 and 190 pounds, has brown hair and blue eyes. He was last seen at his residence. Gage does suffer from mental health issues, and his family is extremely worried and hopes for a safe return. And he's 31. He's 5'11", weighs between 185 and 190 pounds, has brown hair and blue eyes. He was last seen wearing a blue-white button-up shirt, blue jeans, a gray hat with the lettering Fox on the front, and black Adidas shoes. Additional information is he may have been carrying a black or green backpack or drawstring bag. If you have any information regarding Gage's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Blue Springs, Missouri Police Department at 816-228-0151 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or their toll-free number 866-362-6422. And see if we can't help get Gage located and back home to where he needs to be. Somebody is agitating Derek's dog.
Yeah. It's, oh, man. It is rough.
Trisha's
rough
asking, were you able to, Trisha's asking, were you able to do what you needed to do on your channel?
Not yet. 12 subscribers away.
Oh, wow.
12. How many subscribers do you have, Ricky?
It was 100 and something. I'll have to look again.
88 for me, buddy. But I started yesterday with 51, so I'm pretty excited.
Cool. And I'm finding, there it is. Randall Asia Gibbs, missing from Topeka since June 1st of 2020. Oh, you have Jay? I thought you had. Oops. Sorry. My bad. Okay.
Leewood.
Jay, no, I don't know if it's Flaker. I don't know. Missing from Leewood, Kansas since June 7th, 2016. I apologize for butchering the last name. He was 58 when he went missing. He's now 65. He's 6 foot tall, 180 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. He left home without his medications, which he needs daily. He also missed an important family event that day. He may be driving a black four-door 2009 Cadillac CTS with Kansas license tag 883BFH. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 58. He'd now be 65. 6 foot tall, weighs 180 pounds, had brown hair and hazel eyes. He was last known to be wearing a neon green jacket, black athletic shorts with white trim, sandals, and a white headband. If you have any information regarding Jay's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Leewood, Kansas Police Department at 913-642-5555 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we cannot help get Jay located and back home where he needs to be. We just recently added the picture on the left side of his flyer there to the flyer the other day.
Looks like it might be like a driver's license photo.
That's what it looks like. The blue screen usually screams out driver's license.
Yeah.
Amanda says, I'm sorry this is off topic, but I can't help but admire the background, Derek.
Yeah. I keep forgetting to change it. I set it up here for to make somebody laugh a few weeks ago, and it's just been sitting up here. Is this Jolaine? Jolaine. It's going to be Pecos Jane Doe.
Yeah, that's what she was formerly known as. Yes. Let's see here, and she was a Salina, Kansas woman who disappeared 54 years ago. She was known as Pecos Jane Doe. She checked into a Roper's Motel on July 5th, 1966, with a man who has never been identified. Jolaine and the young man had registered at the motel as Mr. and Mrs. Russell. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but Batoon, I guess. During a news conference on January 19, 2021, Pecos Police Chief Lisa Tarango referred to a police report from 1966 where witnesses reported hearing a scream. Minutes after the scream, a motel worker found Jolaine in the pool. Emergency crews rushed her to the hospital where she died. According to investigators, Jolaine's companion was in the couple's room when she was found in the pool. They said he went to the office and asked for the companion card used to check into the motel. He told the clerk he needed it to be able to to confirm his identity at the hospital. Tarango said the man never arrived at the hospital and disappeared with Jolaine's belongings from the motel. Police reopened the case and exhumed Jolaine's body. They took DNA samples, used genealogy, and located several pictures from the original investigation into her death. After a long search and use of multiple labs, Tarango said detectives traveled to Salina to meet with Jolaine's family. Pecos police said Hemi's death remains under investigation. They are asking anyone with information about Hemi or the man she traveled with to call the Pecos, Texas Police Department at 432-445-4911 and see if we can help get him identified and see what he may or may not know regarding her death.
Wow. That's wild.
Yep. And I believe my brother used to work with one of Jolaine's sisters at Kmart years ago.
So was it that for 54 years, they didn't know who the body was when they pulled it out of the water? Or?
Yeah, because apparently he took all the ID and everything with him.
So that's what it was
at
just
the hotel.
Jolene. So they just thought it was Jane Doe for all those years.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He took the card from the hotel and said he needed it to identify himself at the hospital and never showed up and took off with everything from the room.
Well, that's not suspicious at all.
Yeah. And again, Tatum is saying articles on her case are in the comments under her flyer. For sure. So if anybody wants to do a deep dive, Tatum has helped you out by posting those links to those articles.
Let's talk about Jordan Harris.
Okay. He is missing from Topeka, Kansas since November 4th, 2019. He was 15 when he went missing. He's now 18. He's 5'6", 115 to 120 pounds, has brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Jordan's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551. Or you can call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 800-843-5678 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get him located and back to where he needs to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
And obviously those are older photos, but that's the only photos we have to go off of right now.
Man, we do this show and I see all these people. You never know what people are going through, man.
Yeah.
You never know. It just makes me like the girl in Denver says she's like not on her meds she's supposed to be on, and she, doesn't have a place to stay often. It's just sad, man. I just wish it wasn't that way. Tell us about Kaden Smith.
Okay, this was April 29, 2020 in El Dorado, Kansas. Police officers dispatched to an address on South Star Street in El Dorado for a report of a 14-year-old Kaden Smith with a gunshot wound to the head. Kaden was later pronounced deceased at a local hospital. Through the initial investigation, it was discovered that several juveniles had burglarized an abandoned house where firearms and ammunition had been discarded. One of the firearms stolen was used in the fatal shooting. It was initially reported to investigators that the shooting was a possible suicide. However, with information from the Sedgwick County Medical Examiner and tips from the public, the death has been ruled undetermined. Investigators have continuously followed up leads provided by the community and have received assistance from local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. This case has remained open since the shooting has occurred, as it has yet to be resolved. The El Dorado Police Department would like to thank the public for all the tips received and can assure you they've been actively following up on these leads. They're once again asking for the community's help in identifying what happened on April 29th, 2020. Unfortunately, this is all the information they can release at this time without parental consent. Anyone with information that would lead to an arrest of the suspect or suspects could be eligible for an award of up to $1,000. Please leave a tip at Crime Stoppers at 316-321-1080 or their website, www.p3tips.com/community/mobile/index.htm, or download the mobile app and submit a tip that way. And hopefully Kaden Smith's family will find out what truly happened to him and get some justice and closure. And Tatum does have articles on his flyer as well. Again, on Kansas Missing Unsolved on Facebook.
Wow. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Tell us about Candace Reese.
Okay. Let's see here. I had her up a few weeks ago when she was found, and now she's missing again, this time since June 26th of 2022. She's 17. She is 5'4", 175 pounds, brown hair that is dyed red or pink, and she has green or hazel eyes. If you have any information regarding Candace's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551 or 785-368-9200 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Candace located and back to where she needs to be.
Yeah, you hate to see him appear on the show more than once, but sadly that happens.
Yeah, unfortunately it does.
Let's talk about Kenny.
All right. He's missing from here in Salina, Kansas since November 4th of 2019. He was 69 when he went missing, and now be 72. He's 5'9", 175 pounds, has gray hair and blue eyes. He does sometimes use the last name Brown as opposed to his given name of Reitcheck. He does suffer from diminished mental health capabilities and is on disability, but he has not tried to access his money since he was last seen. He may have family in northwest Kansas, possibly around Colby. He was last seen at the Gospel Mission in Salina. He had left there and hasn't been seen or heard from since that time. Information that I had been seen and been given was that he had lived in an apartment house catty corner from the police department here in town, and he was evicted, and police had taken him out to the Gospel Mission where he had been staying, and he'd started having some issues with another resident there, so he chose to leave and hasn't been seen since then. So again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 69. He's now 72. He's 5'9", weighs about 175 pounds. He has gray hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Kenny's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't figure out what happened to Kenny and where he's at and get him brought home safe.
Yeah.
That's another case that's really, I think about a lot. You know, I've brought it up before in past shows, and I didn't know him well, but I would run into him like at the corner gas stations when they still had pinball machines and video games in there when I was a teenager, and I'd visit with him while he was playing pinball and stuff, and he just was the nicest guy. He didn't say anything cross to anybody or anything like that. Unfortunately, some people called him some pretty derogatory names that I heard back then too, and it broke my heart. So I just hope Kenny's out there safe and living his best life, and hopefully we can find him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally one of the first cases we covered when I just started helping you. That was kind of fresh to the scene.
Yeah. And Tatum's got articles under his flare on Kansas missing and unsolved too.
Nice. Tell me about Lauren LeQuig.
Yep. Okay.
Looks like this one's going to be Garden City. Wow, that's my neck of the woods.
Yeah, her, Taylor Criswell, and Lucia Hernandez. Missing from Garden City since June 29th of 2022. She's 16, 5'7", 150 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. We're talking about Lauren McQuig here. Lauren McQuig, Lucia Hernandez, and Taylor Criswell were last seen at the Juvenile Detention Center in the 500 block of West Santa Fe Street in Garden City. Lauren, Lucia, and Taylor were seen getting into a gray or silver four-door car and left the detention center property, and it's unknown if they remained together. Again, Lauren's 16. She's 5'7", weighs 150 pounds. She has brown hair that she is known to dye and hazel eyes. If you have any information regarding Lauren's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Garden City, Kansas Police Department at 620-276-1300 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can get Lauren, Lucia, and Taylor all found and located.
So that was going to be Lauren, Taylor, and Lucia that were all missing from the same area?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'll put Lucia up there right now.
Okay. I just got to locate your flare in my list. There she is. Again, missing from Garden City since June 29th. She's 16, 5 foot tall, 180 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Lucia Hernandez, Taylor Criswell, and Lauren McQuig. They were all last seen at the Juvenile Detention Center in the 500 block of West Santa Fe Street in Garden City. Lucia, Taylor, and Lauren were seen getting into a gray or silver four-door passenger car and left the detention center property. It is unknown if they remain together. Again, she's 16, 5 foot tall, weighs 180 pounds. She has dark brown, black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Lucia's disappearance, you know of her whereabouts, please call the Garden City, Kansas Police Department at 620-276-1300 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can get them located and back to where they need to be.
Okay.
And Lucia, we've done flyers for in the past, as well as we have done flyers in the past for Taylor as well.
And then here's Taylor.
Okay. And again, missing from Garden City since June 29th of 2022. She's 16. She's 5'4", 125 pounds. Black hair and brown eyes. Taylor, Lucia, and Lauren were last seen at the Juvenile Detention Center in the 500 block of West Santa Fe in Garden City. Taylor, Lucia, and Lauren were seen getting into a gray or silver four-door passenger car that left the detention center property. It's unknown if they stayed together or not. Again, Taylor's 16. She's 5'4", weighs 125 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. She has a piercing in her septum. Both nostrils are pierced. Taylor has a tattoo on her right leg that reads, "I love you, Dad." She was last known to be wearing a black jacket, black shirt, and blue jeans. If you have any information regarding Taylor's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Garden City, Kansas Police Department at 620-276-1300 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get these young ladies found and back to where they need to be. I was able to get more information on Taylor than the other two because, as I mentioned, I've done flyers for her before, so her mom got a hold of me about getting another one made for her, and she was able to give me more information. Plus, I had information from the prior flyer as well. So as far as the piercings, the tattoo, and that kind of thing.
Wow. Well, that's a lot of people doing this from the same place, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of
Speaking of
people.
Dennis, Muddy Waters Search and Recovery, there he is. How's it going, Dennis?
Hey,
we were just talking about you earlier in regards to the Billy and Mary Black case just a little while ago.
Tell us about Lori.
Okay. I cannot remember if we've actually covered her or not in the past. Have
at
we?
Least once.
We've covered her. We've covered so many cases over the last two and a half years. It's crazy. Lori Walcott, I don't know if it's Freitas or Freitas, I'm not sure. So I hope I don't offend anybody by messing that name up. She's been missing since January 22nd, 2014. She was 53 when she was missing. She'll now be 61. She's 5'3", 160 pounds, red hair and brown eyes. She was last seen in a 300 block of Northeast Gordon in Topeka. Her boyfriend stated she was going to the hospital and never returned. She left her identification, wallet, cell phone, and other belongings behind and has never been heard from again. Lori and her boyfriend reportedly had a violent relationship. Again, at the time of her disappearance, Lori was 53. She would now be 61. She's 5'5", weighs 135 pounds. She has red hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Lori's disappearance, you know of her whereabouts, please call the Capital Area Crime Stoppers of Topeka and Shawnee County at 785-234-0007 or the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551 or 785-368-9200 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get Lori located and back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that sticks out about that one is the fact that her and her boyfriend reportedly had a violent relationship.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. And Dennis is saying, hoping to do a sonar search this weekend on Billy and Mary Black. That's good. We were just talking about Adventures with Purpose had done a search for Mary and Billy too, and they didn't find their car, but they located another vehicle. So
Yeah.
hopefully you guys can find Billy and Mary's car.
Another Salina case.
Yeah. This is what I was talking about earlier, where I was out involved in a search for him this past Sunday. Did find some interesting things that we turned over to, let them come out and take pictures of and get and that kind of thing. It's Nathan Phillip Thompson, missing from Salina, Kansas, June 5th of 2022. He is 44. He's 6'2", 184 pounds, brown hair and hazel eyes. On June 13th, Salina, Kansas Fire Department responded to a trailer home fire located at 1635 Elgin. Once the fire was extinguished, the fire department determined no one was at home, but has since classed the fire as an arson. Police have received information from neighbors that 44-year-old Nathan Thompson, who had been residing in the trailer home, has not been seen for approximately 1 week. Of course, this has been when this release was released, so it's been longer than that now. Nathan's family members have not spoken to him and are unaware of his location. In addition, he failed to appear for a scheduled court hearing in Salina Municipal Court on June 14th, 2022. Salina Police Department has received information that foul play may be involved in Thompson's disappearance. If you've had contact with Nathan Thompson since June 1st, have information concerning his disappearance, or have information relative to the fire at 1635 Elgin, please contact Salina Police Department at 785-826-7210. You may also call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477, or you can make an online tip at www.p3tips.com/tipform.aspx?ID equals 950 $. Tipsters may also contact Salina Police Department at 785-826-7210 and ask to speak to Detective Lemon. So hopefully we can get some information generated as to what may have happened to him and where he may be. Yeah. Hopefully he's alive and okay. But let's get him found and brought home.
Yeah, it's an odd one.
Yeah, it is. After we did the search that day, my brother had me drive by where he lives so he could show me where he lived, and there's absolutely nothing left of that trailer there.
Jeez.
Nothing. And it did kind of burn up a little bit of the trailer next to it too.
Wow.
Yeah, so it must have been a pretty intense fire.
Now I'll let you tell us about Randall.
Yeah, that's the one I goofed on earlier. So you can all beat me with a rubber hose later if you want. And I just got to find this flyer again. You know what I think I did when I got out of it earlier? You know what I think I did? I think when I got out of it earlier, instead of minimizing it, I X'd it. So now I got to go find it again. In just a second here.
Gibbs. You're looking for Gibbs.
Yeah. It's been one of those. Hate to say it. There he is, right there.
I like the name Asa. I know I have a friend named Asa. It's a cool name.
Okay, waiting on the computer to decide to pull it up here. Okay. Missing from Topeka, Kansas is June 1st of 2022. He's 63 years old. He's 5'8", 180 pounds, gray, partial gray hair, blue eyes. Left his house at 213 Van Buren in Topeka on foot between Tuesday, May 31st and Wednesday morning, June 1st. Again, he was 63 years old, 5'8", 180 pounds, has gray or partially gray hair and blue eyes. He was wearing an unknown type color shirt, jacket, blue jeans, and white tennis shoes. If you have any information regarding Randall's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551 or 785-368-9200 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't help get Randall located and back home safely.
Just got a few more for you. Then we're going to show you a located safe.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Timothy Durgan.
Okay. By my count, looks like we got about 5. See, Timothy Durgan missing from Independence, Missouri since April 1st of 2022. He's 34 years old, 5'7", 160 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. He resides in Independence near 18th and Arlington. However, it's reported that he may have last been seen in the 2800 block of East 12th Street in Kansas City. Again, he's 34. He's 5'7", weighs 160 pounds, brown hair and hazel eyes. Has a tattoo that says Reamed on his chest, Durgan on his back, Celtic bands on each wrist, a sea dragon on his inner left forearm, a zombie robot on his upper left arm, One Love 625-15 Megan on the right side of his neck, a sea turtle on the back of his right calf, KC above a black keyhole on the right hand, and a teardrop below the left eye. If you have any information regarding Timothy's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call Detective Steve Brashears with the Independence, Missouri Police Department at 816-325-7820 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol Missing Persons Unit at 573-526-6178 or toll free at 866-362-6422 and see if we can't help get Timothy located and back home to his family.
Who do you have? I have Trinity, Ty, and Waylon left. Who am I missing?
Let's see. I got Trinity. I've got Waylon Bull coming. Oh, we did Nathan. Never mind. So now I've got 3.
Okay, cool.
Trinity, Waylon, and Ty. Yeah, 3.
We'll go ahead and put Trinity up on the screen now and get that one going.
Ready? Where's she at? There she is.
Missing
from Kansas City, Kansas. Since June 12th of this year. She's 17, 5'8", 150 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Trinity's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Trinity located and back to where she needs to be. All right.
Okay. And then we have 2 more.
Yep.
Ty will be first, and then we can talk about Waylon.
Okay. And this is one that I just did for Derek, just a little bit before the show, actually. It's got there he is, way up there. Sheesh. I got such a long list on my computer to go through to find these flyers. Yeah, this was July 27, 1995, Elkhart, Kansas. Ty Marquardt recently had a falling out with friends that he had made during a short time in Elkhart. He left on foot with the intentions of walking back to Texas. In the early morning hours of July 27, 1995, Ty was struck and killed as he walked down State Highway 95 in Texas County, Oklahoma by an unknown vehicle. The official ruling was an accident. However, lead detective Chuck McInerney was certain that this was no accident. Ty's family also believes this is no accident, as someone would remember hitting a person even in the dark. If you have any information regarding Ty's death, please call the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation at 405-848-6724 and see if we can't help Ty's family get some closure on his case. I just got a message telling me that Trinity turned 18 today. So Trinity Franklin is now 18.
Okay.
So I will have to fix that on her flyer here after the show.
Okay. So this is hit and run in Oklahoma, and then we have one more. And this is a case that we've had a flyer for quite some time. Wayland. This is another one. A family is essentially just a hit and run, and the family is just basically wanting to find out who hit them. So,
right. Wayland Bull Cumming. This was May 27th of 2011, Sealing, Oklahoma. Wayland Bull Cumming was killed in a hit and run in Sealing, Oklahoma, and I hope I'm saying that right. On May 27, 2011, he was 28. He had been hit so hard that he was essentially dismembered. Man, that must have been a heck of a... Oof. While his death had been ruled an accident, Wayland's mother has reason to believe he was intentionally hit and targeted. The area where Wayland was supposedly walking that night is in the middle of nowhere, and he had no real reason to be out there. Authorities have said that they have tracked down several leads, but not any that have gone anywhere. But the only thing definitely known about Wayland's death is it occurred between 10:30 and 11:15. Wayland's mother, Diane, is desperate for answers. If you have any information regarding Wayland's death, please call the Dewey County, Oklahoma Sheriff's Office at 580-328-5558 and see if we can't help her get the answers that she's looking for. Let's see here. I'm reading some of Tatum's comments here. No movement on his case, asking for any help with this case. Posted a podcast on his case. There's very little out there on his case for articles, etc. Wayland will have articles on his case when we get them posted again on the sites. Okay. And I think Tatum was telling me earlier that she had seen somewhere that apparently that he had walked that road frequently, and when vehicles approached, he would hide down in the ditch.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Well, we got to locate it safe. We want
to Wayland before.
Yeah, it's just, it's those families just gotta, their loved one got ran over, and that's, nobody knows who did it, and it's not even, could very well be an accident, but still, you want to know who accidentally ran over your loved one,
Well, even still, like we were saying, we were talking about it in chat earlier today, but I mean, even if it was an accident, he still was hit by somebody and they fled the scene. So just doing that was a crime in itself. So even if the accident was an accident, fleeing the scene was the crime.
I talked to I won't say her name on the air. I told Ricky her name, but it's an agent with the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. And I talked to her about Ty, and she told me that it's a closed case, so which means they can't really do a whole lot with it. But she said that anytime you have a case like this where it's a closed case, she said that doesn't mean that the idea of investigating it as foul play is out the window. It just means, she said, that it would take a monumental amount of evidence to make the state of Oklahoma reopen the case. So that really relies on the public. There has to be enough of a breakthrough in information for the state to basically reopen the case. So that's really the only, for these families, Ty Marquardt, Wayland Bull Cumming, that's really the only hope their families have, is that somebody someday comes forward with enough information to reopen the case, And
that's why we're covering him, is to hopefully generate that information to get it reopened.
Yeah.
The whole location of Elkhart had me confused because I didn't realize it was so close to Oklahoma on the south and so close to Colorado on the west. I was like, holy crap, it's like basically right in the corner of the state of Kansas.
Yeah, there's a little part, if you go to Elkhart and go to the state line road, where Norm from Free Zone, he lives about 3 minutes from the place I'm describing, but you can stand in like Oklahoma, Colorado, Kansas, and I think New Mexico. It's like this one little, where they all meet. But yeah, Elkhart's very close. So that's whenever Ty passed, it's like, and it makes things. So he left Elkhart. He was ran over in Oklahoma, but he was ran over in Texas County. So you're like, what the heck are we talking about at this point?
It's a little confusing. I had to ask Derek to clarify some things because I was going, because at first when it said Texas County, my first thought was the state, not the county. And I was thinking, what's Texas got to do with what's going on up here?
Yeah,
And then Derek explained it to me. I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, Elkhart's confusing. Well, hey, let's play Brandon's located safe video. We'll be right back after this. You're watching KMU Pod. Good stuff.
Oh yeah,
I always love.
It's always fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's sad when I have to put the located deceased on something. I don't like doing that, but it's all part of it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Trish says, loving seeing the located safe. Great job to all the KMU team.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciated. Got a question for you, Derek.
Yes.
It's kind of some backstage stuff, but why was it when you would pull the flyer up on the screen, I was seeing at the bottom Derek Rutherford phone and the flyer down there?
Phone.
Yeah, I'll have to. I took a picture of it with my phone. I'll have to put it in.
It wasn't Derek Rutherford phone. It was saying Derek Rutherford P. It was Phoenix, Arizona. It was just how he was putting up the flyers tonight, which is different than we normally do.
Yes. So what weird. I did is because I got kicked off of Reddit. I didn't do anything bad. It's just it assigned me out, and I don't know my password. But so basically, instead of doing them the old way, I just have it like this. So the reason I do it is because on Reddit, if we're not on the screen, like they get mad. But I also like this. Well, me and Ricky liked that we could pick our nose every once in a while on the live stream. But other than that, there's really no problem with us being on the screen.
Don't reveal all of our secrets, man.
It's too backstage.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of like it better this way. I'm obviously gonna work with making the flyers more cohesive. I knew that we needed to switch to video, and so today I tried a couple different things, and
we can see if we can get something that's really easy for you to do.
Yeah, just something we can drop
like in. Something kind of like how I have the located safe videos, somewhere it's nice and simple for you to do.
Yeah, I've taken that. But yeah, I like it this way. We get to stay on screen, and we'll hopefully be back on Reddit next week. Either Brandon will get us on, or I'll try to get us on.
I tried. It kept saying that we're too many people live streaming on Reddit right now.
Well, we're missing.
I guess Reddit is pretty
the best
popular.
show.
I guess Reddit is a pretty popular platform these days.
Yeah.
I don't use it much, but I mean, seems to have its following.
I get my memes there. That's about it. That's where I go. I stay up late every night looking for the best memes, and I get dozens of likes.
Sweet.
All right. Well, it was a good show, fellas. I can't wait for when's our next one?
Tuesday.
This coming
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
All right.
This coming Tuesday. It'll be the short turnaround this time. So I need to get plenty of rest and trying to stay out of this darn heat.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We need to get Tatum on camera one day. Have her jump in the studio.
Yeah,
Say hi to
we could all,
everybody.
we could all
Introduce
meet
her
up.
to everybody.
I'm excited. Well, Rick, you know what to do to get us out of here, man.
Sure.
Let's do our thing.
Sure. Yeah, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight to review some missing persons and unsolved homicides and suspicious deaths, and try to get these missing people found and answers in the other cases. And as always, we pray that it reaches the right heart, the right ears, and they'll do the right thing and call in that information to help bring these cases to a close. And until Tuesday, we pray that everybody stays safe and healthy and as cool as possible. And we pray these things in your name, Heavenly Father. Amen.
If you or someone you know is experiencing a suicidal crisis or emotional distress, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.